Okay, morning. How's everybody? Oh, good? Good. I love Monday morning class. You know? I really like. Mornings is my best time. I'm a morning person. So you catch me really full of energy. Okay, so who had a chance to do, come on, let's pay attention a little bit here. Who had a chance to do bonus one? Yep. How did you find it? Any feedback? Interesting? Interesting bad or interesting good? Okay, good. Anybody? Anyone else? Yes? Helpful information? Okay, good. Awesome. So today what we're going to be doing is, we're going to be, in the first part, we're going to be talking about some of the things that we did not have a chance to talk about last class, about overloading and optional parameters, okay? Then in our second half, we're going to take 15 minutes to do quiz 01. Quiz 01 will be based, it will be 4 questions only, very simple questions. It will be based on parameters, what we saw last class, what you're going to see today as well, okay? Again, very basic one, 4 questions. We can do that quickly, but I allocate 15 minutes to do that via Centennial. And then once we're done with our quiz, we're going to get started on classes and objects, which is really what the bonus was all about, okay? Awesome. 2 points here, actually. Get my guiding point here. Just to make sure that I cover everything that needs to be covered.
When is the deadline for quiz 1?
Quiz 1? It will be 15 minutes today. Second half in class. Yeah. Okay? So, okay. Yeah, so this is just a quick recap to let you know where, again, you can find the recordings of the classes, okay? So you can go to Centennial under Contents, in the course shell under Contents, scroll down to Videos, and then your section is, our section here is 003, so you can see already the 2 recordings of last classes, okay? 2 recordings here, class 1, class 2 from last week, okay? So again, I keep adding them here. That's one. The other thing is that remember that the form that I asked you to share with me some details about yourself and if you had any questions to me. Remember that we did in the first class? So some of you had questions. I got back to all of the questions asked. However, some people put data misspelling their email address, so some emails came back. Bounced back. So, if you have not heard from me about your question that you have asked, send me a note. Because again, you have written your email address wrong, and then it bounced back. You got that? Again, if you asked a question, and if you did not hear from me so far, it's because your email bounced back because of a misspelling. Okay? And if you really want to know about your question, just send me a new note, and I will get back to you with an answer about that. Okay. Okay, so last class we started with methods, parameters. I'm not going to review what we got done there. I'm going to start from the point that we have stopped then. So we stopped right after we discussed a little bit about params. We're going to be doing, as soon as we're done with those 2 topics here, we're going to be doing some exercises, okay? So we're going to be putting in practice what we have checked so far. So let's carry on with overloading, method overloading, okay? So what is overloading? Who can tell me anything about method overloading? Let's start here. Yep. It performs different functions, but how does it know that it should call this or that method if they have the same name?
Data types and number of parameters.
Got it? Any different answer there? Awesome. So yeah, that's it. So that's what method overloading is in a nutshell. You have the same name for the methods with different parameter lists. Now, if I have two parameters that are two strings, they might be called X and Y, and they may be called B and C in another method. However, they are the same thing because we don't care about what is the name of the parameter, we care about what is the data type of those parameters. So again, two methods cannot have the same number of the same type of parameters, okay? So let's have a look at, actually let's have a look at this video here from our friend, I think, Joyce.
The return types of the methods have no bearing on whether the methods are overloaded correctly or not. It's simply...
Is the volume okay? Because I know that for people that are under the speakers, is that okay? Any problems? Okay.
Hi, this is Joyce Farrell. This is a quick look at overloading methods. Overloaded methods are methods that have the same name but different parameter lists. The return types of the methods have no bearing on whether the methods are overloaded correctly or not. It's simply having the same name but unique parameter lists that makes methods overloaded. Here's a program that calls a method named greet. Here's a version of the greet method that writes hello. When you call the method from the main program, the method executes and hello is produced as output on the screen. Here's a program that calls the method but uses a string argument. If the greet method without any parameters is the only one that exists, then the program will not work. However, you could write a second version of greet that accepts a string parameter. And now the main method can send its argument to this version of the method, and the method produces hello along with the name. Suppose you try to call the method using two arguments. The method that accepts no parameters doesn't work. The method that accepts one parameter doesn't work. But you could write a version with two parameters. And then when you call the method, in this case, howdy is passed to the greeting and Lee is passed to the name. And this method produces howdy Lee. Here's two methods that each take one string parameter and they're both named greet. If you try to write a main...
So look at this. Two methods, they have the same name and they have the same parameter type. You see the parameters are named differently. What is the name of the first parameter? Name. What is the name of the second parameter? Greeting. So the names of the parameters are different, but that alone is not enough to make them distinct. It's not enough, okay? So that is illegal. It will not compile the code, okay? Let's listen to her here.
Greet has sent Sam. It could use this version that accepts a string name, but it could also use this version that accepts the string greeting. Which method executes? It can't be determined. The methods are said to be ambiguous. This is illegal. Thanks for watching.
Okay, so that is where the name ambiguous comes from, because the code does not know which method it should call. It's ambiguous. Can be one or can be the other one. Cannot be determined, okay? Okay. So here in this list, we are just showing a bunch of different data types. There are some data types that can be converted automatically to other data types. For instance, if a parameter is a double, what kind of values can I send to that parameter? Can I send an integer? I can send a double as well, but I can send an integer too, okay? So what this rule talks about is the fact that the method that will be called will be the one that is closer related to that type that is being sent. Again, we mentioned a little bit about ambiguous. We're going to be practicing this. Let's have a look at this simple example here. We have two methods. Simple methods, they have the same name, but they have different parameters here. So one is integer and double, the other one is double and integer. See, on their own, this is not illegal. This is okay, because they have different types of parameters. However, when you call them, you may perform a call that becomes ambiguous, that the code cannot determine which one should be used, okay? For instance, here we have an integer declared, we have a double declared and initialized. We call simple method here with inum, which is an integer, denum, which is a double. So this one will load the first version, int and double. No question, because integer matches integer, okay? Yes, it could match the double, but it goes to the type that is closely associated with it. Integer, as this is a type integer, it's closer connected to another integer. It could be casted to double, but again, in this case here, it used this rule called the betterness. Which one is better for this method? Well, for this one here, we have int and double. We have int and double here, the first one. For the second line here, the second call, we have double and integer, inverted. So it matches the double and integer. However, as we just mentioned that, we can send an integer to a double. And the third call is sending two integers there, which can be automatically casted to doubles. However, which one should be it? You know? Should it be this one or this one? Because this integer can convert to a double, but it's an integer as well. This one here converts to a double, but it's an integer as well. So which one? It cannot determine that. So it will not compile the codes. Okay? So it becomes an ambiguous call. So even though the methods themselves, they are okay, but the way you call them may become ambiguous like this. Okay? As I mentioned, if you want to load Padlets, if you want to ask me a question, raise your hand, or if you want to load Padlets, have it open. I have it open here in my second screen. I keep monitoring. If you have a question, post it there. Okay?
But in this case,
yes.
simple method, but we have indicated two indicators. So basically, anyway, it cannot, or actually the output should be not, in console should be written like method with two lines in that case, right? Because two variables will be used in both methods. So basically, what should be pursued?
What's the question?
Because if we indicate two variables.
Two variables here, yeah.
And choose a method with the same name, what will be the console output in that case?
For the first call?
Are we doing it at the same time?
Yeah, no. So we do one, and then we do the other one, and then the other one. So it will run.
At the same time?
No, it's one after the other. It's not in parallel. Is that what you're asking? Yeah. No, it will run this one, and then this one, and then the third one. So this one will load the first declaration.
Yes, it should write basically in console.
It should write.
This, and then this, and then this.
Yeah, it would write. No, actually, so the cause ambiguous, I don't think that this will even compile. It will not even compile, so you're not even going to be able to run this, okay?
Logically, yes, it shouldn't be possible.
Yes.
So suppose that we have defined the first two methods, okay, and we didn't define the third method,
Yeah.
which is the ambiguous one.
Yes.
Would it still give an error?
No. It would run, it would compile, and it would run properly. No problem at all. Okay? So this is the output. Again, it's giving the error there. Let's see what we have here. Okay. Enter is quiz 2. Okay. Okay, quick quiz here. Again, use this as a bit of a practice for what's about to come. I'll just move forward because we are on the parameters. Let me just double check this. Yes. So here's the code. I'm just going to hide your names here because just 3 quick questions. Let's take a second there. The code is that nearpods.com, and let's enter that code. Yes.
I think we already did this one last time.
This one?
Yeah, we did.
You did this one? Good. Okay, so. Okay, it seems that this one was already done last class. So, yeah. Overloaded. No, so I guess that let's pause there. I think that we have done this. So let me do this. Let's pause. Let's carry on. And then we will do a quiz a little bit later. But yeah, I think that we did this one as well. So yeah, let's keep moving forward here. And there is another quiz after that. Let's just get back here. So let's jump to optional parameters. So let's just recap a little bit. In terms of parameters, so far, we have seen one type, mandatory parameters. However, within mandatory parameters, what were the 4 types of mandatory parameters we saw? Who can give me some names? The parameter, yep. Value parameter, reference parameter, and output parameter. So value, reference, outputs, and params, okay? Those were the mandatory parameters. Now, we have the other major category, which are the optional parameters, okay? Optional parameters, as the name says, they are not required to be sent over because they have a default value, okay? Let's have a look at this example here. We have this method called display size. It has 2 mandatory parameters, length and width. But height, what is the difference of height as compared to the other 2? It's declared, but it's also what? Initialized. that initialization means that if we don't pass a value to that parameter, the value of that variable becomes 1. So if you don't pass, it becomes 1. So like here, display size, 4 and 6. 4 is which parameter? Length. 6 is width. Then we don't have height. So what will be the height here?
1.
Default 1. Okay? But then we have in the fourth line, we have display size with 3 parameters. 4 will be length, 6 will be width, and now height will be set to 8. So no longer will be 1, but it will become 8. Okay? So that's what an option parameter is. What is the tricky thing or the detail about option parameters? Is that they have to be the last parameters. Okay? In a case like this, I could not have had height in between 2 mandatory ones, because then it would become ambiguous. When is it that you mean height and when is it that you mean width if we move this here, the option? So again, optional parameters, they have to be the last parameters. We can have multiple optional parameters, but they all have to be the last parameters in the parameter list of our method. Okay? Confusing?
So they're all going to be 1 if they're like more than 1 optional ones?
Not necessarily. I can set the initialization to anything I want. To any value I want. It might be a string, it might be an object, it might be a number, it might be a double, anything. Yes?
If we have display size, another method, overloaded method, with 2 parameters, that is int length and int width, then this method call will go to?
Okay, so you're saying that if we try to overload, and we have another display size that has length and width only, it's illegal. Because then if you just call with length and width, and you don't provide the height, which one should go to? So it becomes an illegal.
Illegal call, but method declaration is okay.
I don't think it will be okay. We can try that, but I don't think it will compile, because the compiler will already identify that as an ambiguous. So the problem is not really your call. The problem is that the compiler will already have an issue with that. It will already identify that there is an issue here. See? But it's a good question, and we can give it a try. No. Okay. Yes.
What if we have the display size 4 and 6, right? Whatever she said, like if we have that method overload same with display size, length and width,
Yeah.
that will work for that one, display size 4 and 6?
That's what I'm saying. If we try to overload this with just 2 parameters, we're going to have a compilation rate. It will not even compile. Okay, so we're not going to even be able to. If we were to compile, which I find hard to believe that it's compilable, then this call would be ambiguous. Because then we would not be able to, the code would not be able to identify if it should go to the first one or the second one. But I don't think. In that, again, the only thing that it's up in the air is that I'm not sure if we're gonna get a compilation error if we try to overload like that. I think we're gonna get, and I think that it might even be something here. Okay, let's have a look at this here, and I think that it will be helpful in our discussions here. Well, the explanation is already there, so we might as well jump to this. But let's just go through this a little bit here. So let's see what is valid and what is invalid and why. If we have this declaration here, well, we have a bunch of mandatory or optional, those parameters here. A, B, and C. Optional or mandatory? Mandatory, okay? So we have the optional as the very last one. So this is okay. This is good, okay? The second one, we have optional or mandatory? Mandatory, optional. Is this legal?
No.
No, it's not, because we have optional
At the end.
in the middle. The optional is in the middle. So yes, it's supposed to be the very last one. Third one, we have, okay, what about the third one? It's all good, because everything is optional, okay? So there's no problem with that. Fourth one, everything is mandatory, okay? So that's fine. And the last one, again, we have a problem there, which is, what is the problem? Option,
Optional is on the first one. Like
yeah. But again, it's not just because it's the first one, it's because after that, we have mandatory. Okay, so if B was optional, it would be okay. Okay?
So we have to just put the mandatory at first. That's what I mean.
Yes, the first set of parameters are the mandatory ones. The very last parameters or parameter are the optional ones. Okay, they have to be at the very end. Okay? Now we should have this quiz here, which should be valid. Yes, this is. So let me move forward here. Parameter array and overloading. Okay, so here's the code again. I'm going to give you 3 minutes. That quiz was not done yet. Yes. What's up?
I'm having difficulties understanding of this, so what should I do?
Okay, so log to Centennial. Can you log in to Centennial? It's trying to? Okay, so under week 1, there's a review of C# in general. So do you have any knowledge of C#? Anything? A little bit. So do you want to have a review on C#? So there is a link there on week 1 on C# basics. It's a 4 hours video, very long, but you may want to break it down in smaller pieces. But what I can tell you is that we're going to be doing some exercise, and there are plenty of links there. We have to sit down, have a look, read, go through exercise. Do you have the book? Do you have the book? No. Okay, so go through the additional content that is there on Centennial, and during the exercise, give it a try, and I'll be coming by to check on you. Okay? Which part in particular is getting harder?
I think I have to just recall all my things.
Or C#, isn't it? Okay? Okay. Question there? What's up?
What happened if you had 2 optional variables of different types? For example, like if you had a string and an int.
Okay. Okay, so the rule of being the last one still applies. Then what else? What are you wondering about? Is if there's a problem about what, for instance?
How to differentiate? Because since it's optional,
Yep.
you could leave it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But say you had, this was string,
Mm-hmm.
and this one was int, forget about this one. And you only called a method with like a int. But the string is the first one. How would it know?
Got it. So in that case, you cannot call just with an integer. You cannot. It will be an illegal call. And let me see if what I'm not sure is if there is an automated conversion to string. I don't think there is. So you're gonna have a compilation error there because the call will be illegal. So if you want to if you want to call the method, let's say, first one is string optional, second one is integer optional. If you want to send just a value to the integer, you have to send something to the string first, because otherwise it won't be able to get to the integer. You cannot just send an integer hoping that this integer will go in the integer parameter. You got it? Now, there's a way around that, because, and I don't want to focus too much on that, to be quite honest, but you can actually name your parameters when you call. You can say parameter, let's say b equals to a number. Then this way there will be no ambiguity. Then it will be okay. Because again, you can call the method and name the parameters and say parameter b equals to so and so. That would be a way to go around that. Make sense? Okay. Just a quick note, under week 1 on Centennial, I've posted this link here where I said, need help with C# basics, and then there is a link to a 4-hour, I cannot even say tutorial, course covering the basics of C#. So if you have problems with C#, if you need either a recap or get to know the basics of C#, I would highly recommend that you schedule time on your busy schedule to go through it slowly. Don't try to go through 4 hours of tutorial or training at once. Chop it up in the next 2-3 weeks and go through this basic here, okay? It's 4 hours long, but it will cover hopefully any lacking information that you may not have or knowledge that you may not have about C#, okay? So that's there was something, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's 4 hours long, yes, this video. It's not my video, it's just a video I find to be, the instructor is good, I think, you know. Okay, so let's have a look at this. Let's see how we did, okay? A third and 2/3, okay, that's okay. Okay, simple. A parameter array, A, is declared using the keyword params. Is that true? It is, isn't it? Can accept any number of arguments of the same data type. True or false? True. So neither of these is true, or both are true? Both are true, okay? Again, this type of question I'll try to avoid because I like to have one straight single answer, but here it is. Which of the following pair of method declaration represents correctly overloaded methods? So let's see. First one, private static void method A int A and method A int B and double C. Is this right or wrong? This is right. Why? Because you see, double C is optional mandatory. Is mandatory. So if you send one, let's say, if you call with number 10, which one will call? The first one. If you send 10, comma, 10. The second one. Okay, so there's no ambiguity there. So declaration represents correct. Okay, this one. Let's see the second one. What about second one?
Because we don't know method B, like you said, what it wants, like what is inside.
What is method B? Can you have a method call without parameters?
Yes.
So what's the problem? No problem. There's no problem there. Again, you can have a method without parameters. Okay?
Yeah, but we don't know what is inside this method.
It doesn't matter. We are just talking about the methods, you see, declaration. We don't care about what's inside. Actually, just from a standpoint of method declaration, again, either one would work. If we have both, there's no compilation error. It doesn't matter what is inside the method. Now, how about C? Well, it's just one item. That's fine. A is correct, B is correct. How about C? What is the problem with C? Correct, correct. It's not the same name. So we don't have, so this will compile, but it's not an example of overloading, okay? Yeah, we are talking about which ones represent method overloading correctly, okay? So 2 of these are correctly overloaded. Yeah, so the last one, again, I no longer like those types of questions because you have multiple options there, but let's stick to that for a second. Questions? Yes?
I got the A, but C, if the C, for example, method C and method instead of methods and D, if it's method C, is it going to be overloaded thing or no?
Let me ask you that. What do you think?
I think still has a problem.
What is the problem then?
I think there's a 2 of them or not optional, so
Mandatory, so yeah, so they are both mandatory.
so it's the problem, I guess.
Yeah, because both of them are, but we are assuming that they would be method C here. So would that be a problem or not? Yes, because we have the same name, yes. And on top of that, the parameters have the same type, the same number and the same types. So that would be ambiguous. It would not compile. Okay? Does that answer?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
So, okay, I have a question.
Yes.
In like case B, so to not make it overloaded, so what we
Case, you mean B?
I mean B, yeah.
Yep.
So now this one is overloaded, right? So to avoid the overloaded, so what we can do just to bring the second method on the first method?
Okay, just to make it clear, overloading is not a problem, okay? Overloading is just describing a scenario. Overloading is not something that, let's avoid that. It's not about that. It's just saying that this is an example of overloading. There's nothing wrong about doing method overloading. And method overloading is actually positive because you can have the same method, the same name, but being called with different parameters. So overloading is a positive thing. Okay, so not something that now we should avoid what? Ambiguous methods. It's when overload fails, and then you have 2 methods that we don't know which one, the compiler doesn't know which one it should call. Okay, does it make sense? Okay.
So for the C, it's not supposed to be like, if like there is method C instead of method B, so it's not supposed to be like, the parameters are not supposed to be like,
You mean if they have the same name? If the methods have the same name?
yeah.
So if they have the same name and it's just like that, it's illegal because we just have one integer parameter. So if you call methods, let's say method C and method C. If you call method C with number 10 as a parameter, which one it will call? The first one or the second one?
No.
We don't know.
Yes.
So that's an example of ambiguity. So it does not, so it's illegal. Okay? Okay, let me go back here to this. Yeah, so here's what we're gonna do next. We're gonna get just started, then we're gonna go for a 5 minutes break and we come back and we get it going. But right now, what I would like to do is this. I'd like you all to go to Centennial under week 1 because I've posted this there on week 1. You're going to download week 1 exercises. And you're going to give this a try. Just exercise, okay? So I'm going to give you half an hour, yep, and give it a try. So download it, read it through, 2 exercises. Have a look how you get it done. Again, just a quick a quick note about how to get started with Visual Studio. Doing this, you're gonna load either Visual Studio 2017 or 19, it doesn't matter, but go to Visual Studio, then go to File, New, Project, then find under Visual C#, find Windows Desktop, and select under right-hand side, select console app.NET Framework. Let me see if I'm, yeah, so write a program called Cinema. So I'm gonna call this Cinema. And then I'm gonna click OK. And then I'm gonna proceed from here. So that's how you're gonna get started each one of those exercises. So get it going, get it started. I'm gonna give you 5 minutes in between, and I'll be walking around, seeing who has difficulties, who does not have, and again, giving a hint to whoever needs a hint, okay? Yeah. So carry on, get started, okay?
Can we add all the solutions in one file, or do we have to make separate?
This is not, you can. You can have one solution, two projects. But again, this is not for uploading, okay? This is just for exercising, okay?
Just for this. Okay.
Yeah. Again, this is just in-class exercise. You don't need to upload this to Centennial, okay? Yes. Okay, so .NET Framework, console. Oh, sorry, console app. This .NET. So, can you scroll down?
We usually use this. I don't know.
Scroll up again.
Maybe
Let's
a
see.
little.
You know what? Keep up. Keep all the way up.
All the way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Give it a try on .NET Core and see how this goes.
This?
Yeah, give it a try. To be honest, I've not tried console app with .NET Core, because that's .NET Core, isn't it?
.NET
Yeah.
Core.
Give it a try and see how it goes. Let's see.
Console app then? .NET Framework? Is this the one?
Yeah, that would be ideal. That would be ideal.
Okay.
Is this, not this? I have.
Yeah, it's the
Oh, you have that one?
Yes, I have.
Oh, so let's use that one. Let's use the .NET Framework, okay? I'll be there in a second. One quick second.
Professor, on the 19 there is only .NET Core.
Yeah? Okay, so see if you can find .NET Framework. To be quite honest, I have not tried console application .NET Core. If you cannot find .NET Framework on console, on console app, try to load Visual Studio 2017, because in your workstation you should have that. You asked a question? You had a question there? Sorry, just, yes. Okay, so let's see here. Can you type console, CO? That's okay. Just hold on there. Just C-O-N. Oh, yeah. So, try this one here. Click this one. Click it next. And then put the name. It's called Cinema.
So it's easier to search it that way.
Yep. Maybe this is not the one. Let's see. Yeah, this is not. This is a C. This is a C application. So go to File. Actually, you know what? Go to Start here. Let me see one thing here. 2017. Do this. Go File. Again, File. Close Solution. Close Solution. Close. And then let's try again here. So create a new project. So console app C++. No. So let's see. Yeah. What is that? How did you find it?
I typed it and then it came.
It came?
Yeah, but I couldn't find it.
Under search.
So you just search, okay?
Yeah, just search for framework.
Okay, so, okay, here it is. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Yes, I will there.
It's about the naming.
Yep.
I haven't really been able to figure it out.
No problem.
So this is, for example, like the assignment.
Yep.
So I opened it with the framework.
Mm-hmm.
Normally what I was doing before is I would rename this as
Yep.
the first exercise.
Got it.
Should I be doing that, or do I like...
You're talking about the assignments?
Yeah,
For the
just
assignments?
just for the naming of it.
To be quite honest, I saw people before having problems when renaming the project once it's up and running. I would suggest that start with the correct name, and then if you need to change,
Because I initialized it with the...
yeah.
name.
So then that there, actually right click on the project. Right click, go to properties. See, the default names. So if you change it here, this, I don't think that this will change automatically. So this may stay behind, and you'd have to change it here as well.
So if I change it here,
And there.
and then...
Don't put space, yeah.
And then I just save it, and then... How do I do that?
Save it here at the top, in the icons here.
Save here?
Yep. And then you can close it. And then you can rename there. But again, I don't really like rename because I saw some side effects about doing that. But give it a try. Give it a try. Give it a try.
So then I would just rename it here as
Yeah,
well.
you can click again and it will be able to exercise 01. Yeah, 1. And then you rename the namespace.
But
that
that
should
wasn't what I...
Okay.
I think I was asking something.
That's okay, that's okay.
What I meant to ask was, let's say how we did it here, right?
Yep.
So I would put exercise 1 here after
Yep.
renaming it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's how I would do it for the first one?
Yep.
If I get it, like, after that, I would just, get a new solution and put it...
Well, you don't necessarily need to have a new solution. You can actually right-click the solution, right-click here,
Okay.
and you can say add new project, you see?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah,
Yes.
I usually...
So you have one solution and 3 projects.
So the one that confuses me is the first one. So I just rename it and start from here, or should I open a new one, a new project for the first one, and leave this blank as the main?
No, you can keep it. You can keep it this one, like what you just did for exercise 1.
Okay. So
Okay.
I just rename the first one. Okay.
And then you go for the second one, exercise 2,
That's what I
exercise
wanted to
3.
confirm.
Okay?
Thank you.
No problem. What's up?
Is it okay if I take the input in the main only, and then I call with these 2 variables, name and length? I have taken the
Display.
input in the main function only, and just I have simply printed it here in the method. Or do I need to take the input in the method?
It's up to you. I'll leave it up to you. Yeah, unless the statement, unless the exercise is explicitly asking you to do that. Otherwise, you can take the input outside and you can just
This is
send.
also okay, right?
Yeah. Okay. Okay, if you need 5 minutes, by all means, that's the time. Okay, so 5 minutes break. You come back. You can continue.
How do I make it so my class is visible to my program class?
Okay, so, well, it is already. Okay, go to program. So they have the same namespace, that's fine. So go to cinema here. So the class is already public. So
when
that's
I-
enough.
When
That's
I
enough.
call it, it doesn't show the. It doesn't show the.
Okay, so go back there. See, display film is not a static method.
Ah.
So unless it's static, otherwise you would have to declare a cinema class and initialize and instantiate one object of that class. Okay?
Thank you.
No problem. Yep.
So
I'll go there. Yep.
Yeah, 这个 text map math, it doesn't return any integers or?
Okay, so let's see. Include two overloaded methods, one that accepts a price and a tax rate expressed. B, one that accepts a price as double and a tax rate as an integer, including main methods that demonstrate each method calculates the same tax amount appropriate when used, for instance, 13%. Okay, so here's the thing. You should return something because otherwise you will not be able to demonstrate. Okay, so you can make them return return double, yeah, because we're dealing with money, with values that have decimal points. Okay, so return double. I'll be there in a second. Let me just take a quick attendance here.
That means it doesn't have any error.
Okay. So what it's saying? Program trace code 0. Okay. Can you try Control F5? Control. Okay. No problem. Now, yes, I'll be in a second. Let me just address your question. Remember your question? Remember that question you had? You want to show me that again? Okay, so using ref and output. Okay, so they allow multiple methods to have access to the same data. See, when we're dealing with methods, ideally, think about a method as a black box that you just send information in, it does something, and it returns something out. What happens when you are using ref and out is that we are sending something, and those things will be modified. Normally, with methods, this black box concept is about, how can I say, returning a value. The method will return a value, and it will not affect the initial values that we send in. So we lose a little bit of that. We lose and now all of a sudden, the variables that you're passing, they are being transformed inside and returned as something else. So this concept of black box gets a little bit weak because of that. Does it make sense? Yeah. Again, it's very conceptual here. It's not, this thing about being a black box is that you throw something at it, what you throw doesn't get usually modified, but because it's a ref and out, those things that you throw at it, they get modified inside, and they become something else. So this black box that we just put things, and it returns something else, keeping the original values intact, it's broken a little bit, you know? So that's why it says it makes it weak. It's very conceptual. This, I mean, it's a bit of an abstract concept, what you're seeing there, okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Kind of?
Yeah. Okay, one more.
Yes.
Should I use a private or public for the?
It doesn't matter. I mean, that's okay. We're going to touch public and private at some point. So at this stage right now, you can use private, you can use public. That's okay.
I will double check with this one. So that's a assignment requirement you post on the e-centennial.
Yep.
So the variable name is like this.
The variable names. Yeah, the local variable name, yes, correct. That's correct.
Okay.
Class names, yes, that's correct as well. Namespaces. Yeah, to be quite honest, I'm not that picky with namespaces. That's okay, that's fine. And the last one, method, yes, method one. Well, Well, Centennial College, to be quite honest, it should be maybe Centennial. Centennial is definitely uppercase, but college as well, because those are two different words. So I would put the C in college as uppercase.
This one says the first word and the uppercase for every other word.
Okay. Uppercase, the character for first word, and uppercase for every
other word.
No, it's not. I get it. You think that it might be the next one and the one.
Yeah.
Actually, every single. What this really means, every single one. It's not every. I get what you said, and I see the confusion, but no, it's every single one. This every other one. It's really about every single one. It's not about the next one is lower, the next one is upper. No, it's every single one.
So all of them should be capital for each word.
Yes. Actually, both casing, camel casing, and passel casing, after the first word, it's every single word is uppercase, the first word. So it's very simple. The only difference between the two is that passel casing, the first letter of the first word is up. Camel casing, the first letter of the first word is lower. Yes. Okay? Make sense? No problem. Yes.
So I have done this, okay? I call the method. So then a name set to 90, right? You said.
To be quite honest, I don't recall the exercise on top of my head, but if there's a default value, yes, that's the way.
Default,
yep.
So I asked like the user
to enter
a name.
Yep.
And minutes. If it's not, it's gonna be 90.
Yep.
So I have an issue here. So how can I call it on the main?
Okay. So you just call the name, display field. Yep.
I have done this, but then.
Now here's the thing.
Yeah.
You are asking for the movie and the minutes inside the methods. So to be quite honest, it doesn't matter the way you wrote it. It doesn't matter what you are sending to it. It will always get overwritten because you are asking.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what you send to it. So what you could have done, you could have asked those questions outside of the method before you call the method.
Before I call the method, okay.
And then you send. So instead of calling the user inputs within the method, you call it outside.
So I call it on the method and
yes,
the main. Okay.
on the main. Yes.
Okay. But here, how can I display it? Like.
Oh well, you could have different ways here. You could have a console.write line, and you could just return a concatenation of the values here back to the main. So instead of voids, you could make it a string to return a string.
But we have here int.
That's okay. You convert. You convert an int to a string. You use try parse. Sorry. With int it's very simple. Just the name of the integer dot to string. You convert that. Yes, I'll be there. Okay, how are we doing? Confused? You had a question. You had a question. Sorry about that.
Waiting for you. I have a question regarding the assignment because practice I have already done it.
Okay.
Because here, and then in the main, it wants you to put this method in the main. But what about those variables? Should we put by ourselves or me? I did it like this. I asked from the user
That's
those
fine.
number. It
That's
doesn't
fine.
matter.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Unless it's specifically saying something in the description of the exercise. Otherwise, use your judgment. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
We're new to this language, so I haven't done anything before.
Okay, so you make sure that you have a look at that C# basics. Okay, do you know what I'm talking about? C# basics?
Yeah, the video that you told about, the four.
Yes, okay. Okay, so
So we have to define the method outside the main.
perfect. So you did that. So you define it. What else do you need to do? You need to add the. And I'll be walking through. Okay. But what else do you need to do there? You need to define the.
Define the method outside the main, and then
It's been defined there. Now, what is the next step here? Define the parameters.
define the parameters.
Okay.
So I can define the parameters
Inside. Yeah.
Okay, and then can call it in the main.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Yes.
When I start Visual Studio here, in just a few seconds it closes.
It closes, really?
Yeah.
So go to,
If I'm not able to click anywhere, it will just close.
well, try see if you have 2017. Yeah, there's just 19 there. My recommendation is just skip to another computer. Okay? Any question there? Okay.
I just want to ask like I'm looking at two methods here.
Okay,
right?
yep.
So it's not working like it's only the first one is working, not the second one.
Not the second one.
Right, but it should work like I should get two outputs.
Okay. Okay. So press Ctrl F5. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So just the first one. This.
Yeah.
Can you minimize the window there? Okay. So the stop here. Just stop here. Press Ctrl F5. Ctrl F5. Okay. So you see the first one there, correct? Press Enter. The second one. It's because the way you're running, when you press Enter, it showed and it closed. Ctrl F5, it will allow you to stop before it closes. So both of them are there, you see? Because, go to the code again. Let me just show you one more thing. See this read line? This read line, it waits for the user to type. So it prints the first one, and then you say read line. It's waiting there. Okay. And then you hit enter, it keeps going. But then because there's no stop there. Let me see here. Yeah, so Ctrl F5 will allow you to stop to see the output of both of them. Okay, see?
But earlier, like when I don't have this one, it was not working. The
Okay.
control window that comes.
Let's Ctrl F5 again. Ctrl F5. Give it Ctrl F5. Click inside, yeah, Ctrl F5. Both of them. It's just because it was running and not stopping.
Because I was starting from here. Like
Yeah, so that one is just F5. You have F5, which goes straight, and Ctrl F5 will run and it will pause. And then you have a chance to look what's happening. Okay? Yep. What's up?
I think I finished.
Okay. Awesome. Got it. Okay, that's okay.
Do you think there are, I don't know,
You have a question?
Something to improve in the structure?
Okay, I will go through it, and then you ask your questions there. But I'll go through it with my way of doing this. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna take attendance here. So just have a lesson for your name. Ahmed Ali. Ajlan.
It's quite hard though, huh?
What's that?
It's quite hard.
That's okay, that's okay. Amin Patel. Brandon. Carl Huang. Clara. Dhruv Rakesh. Dhruv. Gurneet. Ilan Song. Ishan. Jasmine. Jennifer. Joanna. Jorge Rojas. Joshua Timbal. Karina? Martin? Mary Christine? MD Hilal? MD Hilal Hussein? Mustafa? Yep. Okay. Nita? Nihal Kumar? Pawan Preet? Saima? Sagar Kumar? Shaminda? Siram? Syed? Inan? Tanvi? Teresa? Tomoy? Tony Lin? Tony? Yoga Jim? Yusuf? I'll be there in a second.
Check this fine.
Yep. So, do you have a question?
No, I just want you to check if it's right
Okay.
or not.
It's working?
Yes.
Okay, it's because I'll be demonstrating. So if you have any questions during my demonstration, that's fine. But again, if it's working, awesome. See, in coding, there are many different ways to do things. So you did your way. I'm going to show you what I would have done. And then you can see, okay, is there a problem with the way I did? And then you use your judgment and you ask a question, okay?
Just a
Yes.
I have directly given the output here. Input, it's 0.06, it's double, and this is int.
Okay.
So that's why I have like double and int, and I have used the out so that I can print both of them directly.
Okay. That's okay. You use out.
Yes.
If a method like this is very simple, just returns one value, what I would usually do, instead of going with output, I would make it return a double, and I would use a return, okay? Usually, if there is just one output, make it return something. That usually is the way I would recommend to go about, okay? Make sense? Okay. So, stuck?
Yeah, we're just going through the basics.
You had a problem?
No, it's not just installing the Visual Studio.
Oh, you installed the Visual Studio? Okay. Because it should have been installed already. So you had to install it?
Yeah, it was not running.
Got it. If you go to a computer that is not running, just jump to the next one. Because those computers, they should have Visual Studio. Okay? So you don't have to spend time installing Visual Studio. Okay? Yes.
About the assignment. Basically, if we create a string, but if we ask the user to enter names, so basically, if I create the loop to while we are asking the user enter the name, writing the name, and then it should be the string with the same names, and counter should be here, so that it would count 1, 2, 3, and it will put a name like symbol that the user enters into the string. And then basically it should count like counter plus plus.
Got it.
Counter should be less than 5. Is it correct? Basically.
So you are populating this array, correct?
Yeah.
With 5 entries, correct? So
Yes,
it starts with counter 1.
Yeah, because so that it wouldn't count like 0, already 1, 2, 3, 4.
Actually, so an array with 5 positions, the first position is which number?
In my case, it's 1 because otherwise it would be 0.
No, there's no my case. There is what works with. Does it work, this code? Because here's the thing. If you declare an array of 5 positions, position 1 is 0. So again, you have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you have counter here, if counter starts from 1, when you hit position 5, it will give an exception because it's not. Because position 5 means that it would have 6 items. So is it working right now? I'll be there in a second.
I don't know.
Okay, so it will not. It will not. Because count has to start from 0. Okay?
And now it should be fine, basically.
It should. To be quite honest, very rarely I use do while. I'm more used to use while or a for, but while at the very top. Again, just me, it's not that it's right or wrong, it's just that I'm not too much used to do while. I don't know, I have the tendency to do the test at the very beginning before the loop starts. But again, this works, okay?
Thank you.
Overall, logic seems to be fine. What's up?
I don't understand what you meant by this question in the assignment.
So let's see if I understand, because I may not either. Let's see, we can understand together.
Okay.
What's the question?
So B.
B. Okay, so let's see. Do you think that I remember what am I asking? I don't remember anything. Write an app which contains the following function, which makes use of a variable number of arguments by use of parameters keyword. Private stack and display name, which prints the 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 strings passed to it. Since it is type parameters, you can pass any number of strings name, and it should be able to display them. So you need to call this method in the main according to. Okay, so what's your question?
So I don't know what you mean by it should
print.
It should print.
Print it should output.
No, but like, do you want me to set a specific amount of outputs, or do you just want me to count for how many are in the array?
Yeah, just how many on the array. Otherwise, I mean, you can only print whatever is inside the array.
Is inside the array? No, but because you said 3, 4, 5, so
it's just an example. It's just an example. I mean, if it has 3, it prints 3. If it has 4, it prints 4.
Okay, so when I showed it, I just did 3 names. Is
okay,
that okay?
That's fine.
That's okay?
That's fine. Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Yes, question?
Yeah, so
copy paste something to overload it. It's gonna show that line to here.
What's your question?
Be able to make an overload.
Okay.
It's gonna.
You have to change the parameters. So if you just do that, it's telling you, because you should just recognize that, okay, there's something wrong here. This method is the same as the other one. I better tell this guy. So it's just Visual telling you that right now, the way it is right now, there's something wrong. But Visual does know that you are still changing that. Got it? Okay. Okay. Let's do this. I'll be doing the exercise. Let's see how far we can get up to 12 p.m., okay? If I'm not able to go through both exercises by 12 we stop and we do the quiz, okay? And then again, either I'll do the exercise next class, or I'll provide you with the solution and a recording of how to do it, okay? Well, let's do this. Okay. Okay, let's read the exercise here. And I'll make sure that I have Padlet open. Can you please start with the second one? The second one will come second, next, okay? I mean, again, let's put some order here in the chaos, okay? Start with the first one. Again, if I'm not able to get to the second one, you either get it from me in the next class, live, or via a video recording, okay? So we're going to start with the first one. Sorry about that. Okay, so write a program named Cinema. Okay, let's start there. I think I did that already. So I got it started there, okay? It should contain a method named displayFilm, okay? So let's do that. displayFilm. So for now, let's not worry about what private means, what public means. All of that we're going to be talking about in a different occasion, okay? For now, we're just going to say static. Again, I'll explain what this is at some point, but let's say static, public. Say public, static. The name is displayFilm, okay? displayFilm. That accepts and displays two parameters, okay? We got it. So let's just make the signature there, start and end. Let's see what the parameters are. The first one, a string name of a movie. Okay, so a string name movie. Let's do that. So the first one is a string, and let's call it movie. Parameters, they use Pascal casing. First letter of the first word, lowercase, okay? As I go through demonstrating this, if you get stuck at any points, let me know. Raise your hand or put something there on Padlet. So we have movie there, and an integer, which is the running time in minutes. So let's call this duration. Yeah. So let's say int duration. Okay, great. So what? Oh, this is. Let's put void for now. Void means that there's no return value, but we may change that. Let's just keep it void for now. Okay. So a string, okay. And it should output. So here's the thing. There are different ways to skin this cat. Who knows this expression? Different ways to skin a cat. What does that mean? Different ways to do something, okay? So again, in coding, there are 1,000 different ways to do things, okay? I'm just going to show my way. It doesn't mean that your way is wrong. It just means that this is my way of solving this. If you have any questions about the way you did, you can ask, okay? But the way I'll do this, as I read this, the output should be. So if it's talking about outputs, let's think about return something. Now, here's the thing. We talk about output parameters here. To be quite honest, in my career with development, I've used output parameters very few times. Now, if your method is returning more than one piece of information, yes, go ahead, use output parameters. However, if your method is returning one single value, it might be an integer, it might be a string, it might be a double, let's use the return type of the method, okay? I'll recommend to do this. So it should output this. Okay, so instead of being a void, how about we make this return? So output, it should show in the screen. How about we output a string here? Instead of a void, which is, it doesn't return anything, let's return a string here. So let's do this. Okay, let's keep reading here. What is the problem? Oh, because I said that the return is a string, I have to type at the very end a return. So return something. For now, I'm just gonna, just to keep Visual Studio happy and not showing me squiggly lines, I'm just gonna return nothing there, okay? Let's keep reading there. So we have to return the combination of the movie title dash the duration in minutes, okay? So how about we do this? So you're gonna return, again, as I said, different ways to skin the cat. I can declare here string, let's say, output equals to, and then I'm gonna say movie plus means that we're gonna concatenate stuff. We're gonna put a string together with another string, okay? With another string. So I'm gonna say dash, and I'm gonna add what now? Duration, okay? So I'm gonna say duration. However, we have a problem here. What is the problem with, well, there's no problem here. So int will automatically convert this. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna make sure here. I'm gonna convert the duration integer to a string. So I'm just gonna say duration dot toString. I'm gonna use toString method, which converts the integer to a string. Again, just gonna use that, and I'm gonna return what? I'm gonna return the output string. Again, as I said, 1,000 different ways that you could have written that. You could have placed movie, this whole thing right here. You could have, yes.
The two strings then with dash, right?
Yep. It's just a dash. Just so you can put a dash between the name and the duration, okay? Okay. Now, let's see what else we have here. Provide a default value. Okay, provide a default value for the minutes so that if you call the method without an integer argument, minutes will be set to 90. Okay, great. So what do we have to do here? Optional what? Parameter, which one is optional? Duration. What should I change here? Equals to 90. Okay? So it becomes optional. Whether I send it in or not, it doesn't matter. Let's keep reading here. So that's B. C. Write a main method that proves you can call the movie method with only a string argument as well as with a string and an integer. Again, different ways. I did not ask you here for you to ask the user to input anything. I could hard-code the values. I just want you to demonstrate. You can demonstrate that by asking the user to type the movie name, ask the user to type the duration, or I could just hard-code, as I'm gonna go the simple route. I'm just gonna hard-code the movie title here, okay? So I'm gonna say this. How do I output something to the console? How do I send something? So I can say console dot what? Write. I'm gonna say write line, so the movie, it's written in one single line. So I'm gonna say write line, and then I can say something like this. So I'm gonna make this very short and sweet. I'm just gonna call the display film here, which, by the way, it takes movie name, so say matrix, and then let's say that we just put it like this. Okay, so we are calling the methods without the duration. Okay, so let's see if this works. If you go ahead and press F5, it will run and it will exit, so you won't be able to see the results. See, it runs and it goes straight forwards there. Now, if I press Control F5, it runs and it waits for me to enter a key to exit this, okay? So as you can see, matrix 9. However, I'm asking you to prove that it runs with one parameter and with two parameters as well. So I'm going to write a second one. I'm going to say matrix, and then let's say 200. So if I run this, Ctrl F5, there we go. Now that's your time, your turn to ask questions. That was it. Again, for some of you, this was very trivial, very basic. For some of you, I have no idea what that guy is talking about. Okay?
I was using the method random to generate the random duration from 60 to 123. Now, if my method, it wants me to order movie name and graph duration.
Okay. Again, different ways to do this. I'm taking the approach of let's make this as simple as possible to comply with the exercise. Okay? Again, any questions? I'm going to upload this code to Centennial, so you have access to the codes. We're not going to do exercise 2. Again, I'll either do it myself and record to you, or I'll do it next class. Questions here? Yes?
Between the
Is it okay? Again, the way I'm solving is the simplest way.
So if we did not put public, it will not work, right?
It would work, because then it would be private, and it would still be able to call. However, again, at this point in time, I'm not going to explain what's public, what's private. You're going to talk about that a little bit later. The goal of this exercise is to demonstrate how you overload a method. Okay? Yes?
Can we use cursor right line in the display method inside the display method, and we call the display method in the main? Is it better, or this one is better? That's why.
I would say that if you ask for better, which one is better, I would say that this is better. Because I did. No, I'm joking. Not because I did. Because you are making display film very, very flexible. Because display film will not care about how you're going to output this. It just cares about getting the film and putting together with the duration. That's the only thing that it does. How are you going to use that? If you're going to send that to a voice device, or if you're going to output that to the console, it's up to here to decide. The job that this is doing is just combining the two of them. It's a very simple job. And you leave the outputs for the main method to decide how it will output that. You make this as simple as possible, and you leave how it will display the values. Leave it to the main to decide that. So you keep the method as simple as possible. Okay? Okay. As I said, I'm going to either record or show the second one next class. We're going to take a few minutes to do our quiz number 1. Okay? Are we good? Okay, so I have made it visible yet, but I'm going to do that right now. And I have never done this for multiple classes, so again, let's see if this will work. Give me 1 second. Okay, can you please let me know if you can go to on instantaneous assignments, assessments, quizzes? Can you please let me know if you can see quiz 1? You can see it? So if you can see it, just get it going, just get it started. Again, you have 15 minutes. Yeah, 15 minutes to get it done, okay? 4 questions, 15 minutes, open book, not open friend, not open colleague, but open book, okay? Open book, open notes, open. Yes. Easy peasy. I'm telling you, this course is easy. Yes. What's that? You don't see it? Okay, who cannot see quiz 1? Who cannot? No, assessments. Go to, okay. So you go to Centennial, under assessments, quizzes. Again, once you submit, it's done, okay? It's just one chance, and I think it gives the result right away. Yes, you can all start, okay? Just go for it. You have 15 minutes to get it done. It stops at 12:25, I think.